They didn't raise their voices when they took me out of that office. They didn't need to. The way the hallway went quiet did it for them. The way people suddenly found their phones interesting. The way security kept saying ma'am like it was an apology wrapped in procedure. I remember thinking this is how it ends for people like me, not with a fight, with paperwork. I'd been sitting at my desk 5 minutes earlier, coffee still warm, inbox half cleared, when my supervisor stopped by with that smile people use when they're already done with you. Tight, polite, afraid of silence. "Can we talk?" he said. We didn't talk. He slid a folder across my desk. No eye contact. No explanation worth remembering. Just phrases that sound harmless until they're aimed at you. Not the right fit. Restructuring, we're going in a different direction. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my body didn't know what else to do. Then he called security. That's the part people like to watch. The walk, the box. The little things spilling out of your life photos. Notebooks. A jacket you didn't grab fast enough. I felt eyes on me, measuring, judging, confirming whatever story they already wanted to believe. I kept my back straight. That mattered to me. I wasn't going to give them the slump. Someone whispered, "About time." Someone else recorded. I looked at the glass walls, the reflections, my own face staring back calm enough to scare me. And I realized something right there with my name badge cut in half. They weren't firing me because I failed. They were firing me because they thought I wouldn't fight back. See, I don't look impressive at first glance. I don't wear my wins on my sleeve. I don't talk in bullet points or flex with titles. I learned a long time ago that loud confidence gets mistaken for strength, and quiet competence gets mistaken for weakness. That day they bet on that mistake. After they walked me out, the story about me changed fast, overnight. People who used to smile suddenly remembered how difficult I was. Conversations I thought were professional became attitude issues. Questions I asked became agendas. I didn't respond, not online, not through friends, not through back channels. I let them talk. Because here's the thing, no one teaches you when people think you're powerless. They get sloppy. They say things they shouldn't. They put things in writing. They joke. They exaggerate. They justify. Patterns start to show. And patterns, that's where the truth lives. I spent the next few weeks doing something that looked like nothing from the outside. No statements, no interviews, no angry posts. I went quiet in a way that made people uncomfortable. Behind the scenes, I was paying attention. Emails forwarded themselves. Screenshots arrived from people who suddenly wanted to be anonymous. Policies that were company standard turned out to be selectively enforced. Names repeated. Decisions followed the same logic over and over. It wasn't personal. That's what made it worse. They weren't targeting me because of who I was. They were comfortable because of who they thought I wasn't. The moment I knew they'd crossed a line wasn't dramatic. It never is. It was a phone call from a former coworker whispering like we were teenagers again. "They're telling people you were unstable," she said, "that you needed to be removed." Removed. That word stuck with me. Not fired, not laid off, removed. That's when I stopped collecting information and started organizing it. I didn't storm back into the building. I didn't demand meetings. I didn't threaten lawsuits or post timelines. I let the systems do what systems do when you feed them facts instead of feelings. Reviews happened. Questions were asked. Audits began quietly, the way real consequences always do. When I finally walked back into that building weeks later, it wasn't with security behind me. It was with people standing up too fast, chairs scraping eyes wide with recognition they wished had come sooner. The same manager who couldn't look at me before suddenly couldn't stop talking. "We may have misunderstood," he said. "We value your contributions," someone else added. There were mistakes, a third voice offered, carefully vague. I listened. I really did. And I realized something else. This wasn't my victory lap. This was their reckoning. I wasn't there to humiliate anyone. I didn't need to. Shame does its best work when you let people sit with it. They offered me my position back. A better title, more money, a seat at a table I'd already learned too much about. I said no. Not angrily, not dramatically. Just no. Because respect that shows up after pressure isn't respect. It's damage control. I walked out again that day. Slower this time. No box, no cameras. Just my footsteps echoing in a hallway that suddenly felt smaller than it used to. Outside, the city was loud, indifferent, alive. People rushing past with their own battles, their own stories, their own quiet humiliations no one would ever film. I stood there longer than I needed to. I thought about how close I came to believing their version of me. How easy it would have been to shrink, to explain, to beg for fairness from people who only understood leverage. And I thought about how many times I'd watched this happen to someone else and stayed quiet. That part still sits heavy. I didn't win because I destroyed anyone. I won because I didn't disappear. I didn't scream. I didn't rush. I didn't let anger write my story for me. I let patience do what it does best, expose. Being underestimated didn't break me. It taught me exactly where the cracks were. And if there's one thing I know now, it's this: power doesn't always look like dominance. Sometimes it looks like restraint, like timing, like knowing when to walk away without needing applause. So I'll leave you with this. When someone gets humiliated in public, do you think it means they lost? Or that someone else just revealed how dangerous their assumptions really are? Tell me what you think. I'm listening.